Alrighty, hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Cryptic Coil, and in today's video, I have a pretty cool book haul for you. Alright, I don't know if you guys remember this, but in one of my more recent videos, I showed off my Spirit Halloween haul, and I showed you my Twilight Zone coffee mug. I get to use it this morning, and I'm very happy about that. Let me take a sip, and then I'll jump into this book haul. Alright, so first, I'm gonna just jump into like my middle grade books. Here's a book that I'd never heard of by an author that I'd never heard of, but it's in Avon Camelot Publishing, and the book is titled Fifth Grade Magic by Beatrice Gormley, or Gormley. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but here's the cover. So you see a little girl doing homework on her bedroom floor. I used to do that. And there's a little ghost girl in her room, and it just looked like an intriguing cover. I saw a ghost on the cover, so I just decided to buy it, as cheap as it was at the thrift store that I went to. All right, and here's the tagline on the front. Gretchen would do anything to act in the school play, even believe in magic. And here's the synopsis on the back. Just one more spell, please. Ever since kindergarten, Gretchen Nichols has been waiting to star in the school play. Now, at last, she was in the fifth grade and ready for the spotlight. So when her teacher chose the new girl, pretty blonde Amy Sacker, for the starring role, Gretchen was furious. She was determined that a terrible actress like Amy wasn't going to ruin her school play. Gretchen wasn't sure what to do until a very strange visitor appeared in her bedroom one afternoon to help out. Aurora didn't look much like a fairy godmother, but Gretchen was too desperate to be fussy. With the magical powers of Aurora's enchantulator, soon she, not Amy, would be up there on the stage where she belonged. It took just one magic spell to show Gretchen how hard it can be to make a dream come true. And that sounds pretty intriguing. So this book was published in 1984. This is older than me, and it's almost in mint condition. There's just a thing with the pages, but if I just bend them back and squish them in the bookshelf for a period of time, I'm sure it'll straighten out. All right, so that was a cool find. All right. And then here's something cool. I don't know if this is middle grade. Nah, this is young adult, but whatever. All right, I found another Saved by the Bell book. Exactly. Number 22 in the series. I only have one other Saved by the Bell book in the series, and I also have a duplicate of that same book. So these things are pretty rare for me to find out in the wild. I mean, I do pretty well going out in the wild. I mean, I've been doing this channel for a number of years, and I have just in my living room alone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 bookshelves, and I have one in my bedroom, one by the front door, 8. Then I have one in my other room where like I have all my eBay inventory and my home office and all that. So I have 9 bookshelves, and they're all full. They're all overfilled, actually. So, I mean, I've been doing pretty well over the last couple of years, but these books have been pretty rare. And so I was really stoked to find another Saved by the Bell book. All right, and I'm not going to read the synopsis or the tagline or anything like that. I'm just going to move on. But this was an exciting find. I found another Daniel Cohen book. All right, Daniel Cohen has done a lot of like anthologies of like scary stories for middle grades. But I'm thinking this might be a young adult middle grade or a young adult anthology. It's called Southern Fried Rat and Other Gruesome Tales. And there's a bucket of chicken, a rat going through it, which is frickin' scary. So get this. Today is the last day that I'm going to live in my apartment. I've lived in this apartment for over 7 years, and the reason why I'm moving out is because at the end of August, early September, I started getting mice for the first time in my 7 years of living here. So yeah, that freaks me out actually. All right, so there is a tagline on the front, and it reads, "Beware of things that scream in the night. One of them might be you." Pretty cool tagline. All right, and here's the synopsis on the back. Go ahead, look inside. There's nothing to be afraid of, except barracudas in the bathroom, dead cats in shopping bags, and boiled heads in the microwave. Southern Fried Rat collects today's goriest, juiciest, funniest, and scariest stories. So if you love being scared, pull the covers over your head and listen. She was still holding Chris's hand, just his hand. The rest of him was hanging from a beam in the ceiling, and in a chair across the room was a huge, wild-looking man, dressed in rags and clutching an enormous bloody knife. The earth was soft, and so the digging went very quickly. The coffin was uncovered and opened. The grief-stricken brother had insisted on seeing his sister one last time. He had assumed she was dead. And there's more. Go ahead, look inside if you dare. So this is pretty cool. This thing is in mint condition. It's never been open. It's in Avon Flair Publishing, and it was published in December 1989. It's almost as old as me, and it's in mint condition. So this was a really cool find. All right. Now, as far as the rest of my middle grades go, all I got are R.L. Stine Goosebumps books. So let me show you this one first. Okay, so this is a library hardback copy of a Goosebumps Horrorland book called When the Ghost Dog Howls. Now, I have the paperback. I didn't know that they had library hardcovers in this series, but this used to belong to a local elementary school, and I found it at a thrift store. So I love finding these library hard backs, so I couldn't resist, and I picked it up. All right, let me get into the rest of my R.L. Stine Goosebumps. All right, so I've needed this one, book number 7 in the Horrorland series, and it's called My Friends Call Me Monster. And I have been needing this one because I have like almost all of the first 18 or something. And so I think that with this one, I now have like the first 12. I think I'm missing number 14, something like that. But this is in like, very good to near mint condition. And, it's got a creepy looking like egg that's hatching a monster on the cover. I don't see a tagline on the front because there isn't one. That's why I don't see it. Let me go ahead and read the synopsis on the back. A teacher or a creature. Okay, so in these like middle grade horror books, I mean, this has been done to death. There's a book in the Spine Tinglers series by M.T. Coffin called The Substitute Creature. And then I think like Graveyard School or one of those other like Goosebumps-esque type series has one called like Creature in the Teacher or something. That might have been Spooksville by Christopher Pike. So I mean this is a very unoriginal trope, but there is a market for it. There are people who enjoy that trope. I mean, The Faculty, I mean, that was the same thing, essentially, or, similar. All right, here's the synopsis. An egg sighting mystery. Cheesy pun that ties into horror. I'm very Crypt Keeper-esque. I dig it. All right. A teacher or a creature. Michael Monroe is learning a few new lessons in school this week. Never trust a teacher who believes in monsters. Don't even think about entering her house, and stay away from the giant egg in her attic, especially if it's about to hatch. What could be worse than a monster egg? An entire theme park filled with monsters. But that's not the only surprise. Soon, Michael and his friends will discover shocking new secrets about Horrorland Theme Park. Very cool. Some girl drew on the. There's some artwork on the front page, and some girl drew a square in whiteout pen, and then she wrote her name in pen on it. Wow. When I was a kid, I never wrote my name inside my books. Like that just wasn't something I did. All right. So let's get into the rest of these. All right. So I found a few duplicates. Okay. I already have some of these books. Some I don't, and some were very exciting to find. All right. I found a mint condition copy of Monster Blood 2. So I need to compare it to the one that I already have, because the mint condition one is going to be my collector's copy. And then if I have a beat up copy, it'll be my reading copy. So I just need to look and see what I already have. Then I have a Phantom of the Auditorium. And this one is in mint condition. The one that I had that I bought off of eBay a long time ago, it was in near mint condition. So this one was in mint, so when I found it at the thrift store, I couldn't pass it up. So this is my new collector's copy. So I already have a copy of Tales to Give You Goosebumps Special Edition number 1, but as you can see, it's beat up. You see these creases on the front cover. You see that the spine is completely faded, and the front cover is on the verge of falling off the spine. Yeah, I mean, this is bad. Someone named McNell wrote their name in ink along the edge of the pages. This thing is not in good condition at all. So this is obviously going to be my reading copy, which is cool because I found a mint condition copy of it. I mean, that thing is gorgeous. So that was really cool, really exciting. Speaking of repeats, I already have 2 copies of this book. Now I have 3. The Girl Who Cried Monster. All right, this is the TV episode number 1. This is a Goosebumps Presents TV episode book, and it seems like the only one I could ever find out in the wild is this one. But the 2 that I have aren't in mint condition. This one is the closest thing that I have to mint condition because it's never been opened. The cover and the pages offer resistance when I open it. And there's just that teeny tiny little crease in the corner, okay, which is completely negligible. So this is my new collector's copy. And to tell you the truth, I don't even see myself reading the other ones. I might just trade them, give them away or something. All right. But my luck changed because I found Goosebumps Presents TV episode number 4, Return of the Mummy. And this is in mint condition. Cover and the pages offer resistance, so it's never been read, and it's in mint condition. I mean, very, very cool. Very cool. All right. Then, I found a few more of these Give Yourself Goosebumps. So I have most of them now. Okay, I found book number 3, Trapped in Batwing Hall. I know that I have found a copy of this out in the wild before, but I remember it being too beat up to take home, even as a reading copy, because I refuse to read these books. I don't want to, I want a straightforward story, okay? I know that some people appreciate the choose your own adventure aspect of it. I'm not one of those people. I want to sit down. I want to read a 3-act storyline. Okay, that's what I want. I'm only collecting these for the sake of collecting them. But this is in mint condition. Great looking cover. I mean, great looking cover. And so I'm actually ecstatic to have it in my collection now. And then I found book number 4, which is Not in the best condition. You can see I mean, there's a fold on the bottom of the front cover. At the corner, there's a corner ripped off. On the back, it looks kind of chewed up. But the spine is doing very well, holding up. The spine is holding onto all the pages. The pages and the cover offer resistance when I try to open it. So this book has never been read. It's a shame that the cover has suffered some abuse, but I'm never going to read it, and I have it in my collection, so it's perfectly fine. Okay, a very cool find. Almost done with the Goosebumps. Almost. I've never had this book before. I think that this was right around the time I stopped reading Goosebumps is when it came out, but I found it in mint condition, and it's book number 57 in the series, My Best Friend is Invisible. And actually, let me tell you about these Goosebumps books that I found. All right, so I was at the thrift store. I was in the children's or the middle grade section, and this thrift store worker comes by with a cart, and I look on their cart, and they have a stack of Goosebumps books, and I start salivating like a dog when its owners turn on the grill, and you can smell the steak grilling. I just start salivating like that, and then she bends down to grab the stack of Goosebumps, and I said, "Ma'am, can I take those off your hands? I'm probably gonna buy all of them." And she just looked at me like, "Okay, geez." And then she hands me the stack. They never even made it to the shelf. So this is cool. And since I've never read this one, I want to look at the cover, read the tagline and the synopsis. So this is interesting. Okay, look at that little kitty on the cover. There's stuff floating around in the kitchen. The cat looks horrified. The title is My Best Friend is Invisible. So there's obviously an invisible force at work in the kitchen. So let's go ahead and read the tagline on the front. Not seeing is believing. And here's the synopsis on the back of the cover. He's out of sight for real. Sammy Jacobs is into ghosts and science fiction. Not exactly the smartest hobby, at least not if you ask Sammy's parents. They're research scientists, and they only believe in real science. But now Sammy's met someone who's totally unreal. He's hanging out in Sammy's room and eating his cereal at breakfast. Sammy's got to find a way to get rid of his new friend. Only problem is, Sammy's new friend is invisible. This thing is in mint condition. The inside of the cover has browned a little bit, but no big deal. And this was published in 1997. So that was like the year I was like in sixth grade, went into seventh grade. So yeah, I wasn't really reading Goosebumps anymore at that time. But yeah, super excited to find that one and have it in my collection now. But hold up, wait. I found, okay, this is one of the ones that never even made it to the shelf because I jumped that like poor girl who worked at the thrift store. I didn't jump her. I mean, I just, went, "Hey, I'll take those." All right. I've been wanting this one for a few years, and I found it, and it's in near mint condition. Monster Blood #4. I got it for less than $2, and it's in near mint condition. Okay, this one is pretty rare, and it's kind of pricey. If you buy it online, you're definitely gonna pay more than original manufacturer suggested retail price for it. And never been read. It's got the bookmarks inside. Oh man, I've been waiting for this to happen. I've been waiting for this. Very exciting find. I know I keep saying that, but I say it that time with intensity. All right. Cheers to me, the king of used book thrifting. According to Shadyside Library. Okay, I didn't give myself that nickname. Shadyside Library called me that. Horns up, Zach. All right, so that's it for my Goosebumps. All right, now I got some. No, 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 no. I actually still have two more Goosebumps. I already had these, but they were in mint condition. These were also in that stack that late young lady gave me. And then so I got Stay Out of the Basement and Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. Both have never been read, mint to near mint condition. So I just need to compare them to the copies that I already have and determine which one's going to be my reading copy versus which one's going to be my collector's copy. All right. So I also have a Caroline B. Cooney book that I've never heard of before, and it's called If the Witnesses Lied, or If the Witness Lied. Kind of interesting cover. It's published by Delacorte Press. Never heard of them. The photo or the cover photo was copyrighted in 2010, but the book was published in 2012, if I remember correctly. So the book was copyrighted in 2009. The cover photo was copyrighted in 2010. This just says first trade paperback edition. It doesn't even say when it was published. Okay, it says originally published in hardcover in the United States by Delacorte Press in 2009. It doesn't say when this one was copyrighted. But anyway, I guess it doesn't matter. Let's just read the synopsis on the back. Jack Fontaine knows that what's happened to his family sounds like the most horrible soap opera anyone could ever write. But it's all true. It happened to his parents, to his sisters, Smithy and Madison, and to his baby brother, Tris. What made it worse was that the media wanted to know every detail. Now it's almost Tris's third birthday, and everything's starting again. Aunt Cheryl, who's living with the Fontaine children, has decided that they will heal only if they work through their pain on camera. It will be a field day for the media, and no one except Cheryl wants that. Jack and his sisters gear up to keep Triss's adorable face off screen, but they quickly realize that there is more at stake than their privacy. The Fontaine siblings have less than 24 hours to change their fate. That sounds very dramatic, and it sounds very good, actually. It doesn't sound like horror, per se. It sounds like it could lean into, like, emotional horror, like the type of horror that explores grief, things in the vein of, like, Pet Cemetery, but maybe not with the overt supernatural horror aspect, but where something horrible happens and then the concept of grief gets explored. This sounds really good. All right. This was a pretty exciting find too. Okay, so this is a Margaret Buffy book called The Dark Garden. And it's got a cool looking cover. I don't know if that girl on the cover is a ghost or like a real girl. But beautiful painting on that cover, man. Great looking cover, gorgeous. Margaret Buffy wrote two point horror books, The Warning and The Ghost of Frances Rain, or The Haunting of Frances Rain. And so I found this one at a Goodwill, and I just saw the name Margaret Buffy, and I had to pull it off the shelf. I looked at the cover, fell in love with the cover. The title seems interesting, The Dark Garden, so I just figured, let me just pick it up for the collection. And here's the synopsis on the back, because there is no tagline on the front. Thea, a 16-year-old suffering from traumatic amnesia, struggles to discover who she is and who she is not. As she tries to recover her identity, the empty places of her mind fill up with memories. But whose memories are they? Thea hears voices no one can hear, sees people no one can see. Is she living someone else's terrible dream? That sounds pretty good. This was a book that belonged to a library, and the last time it was checked out was in the year 2000. It was only checked out once in the year 2000. and this was copyright or oh whoa, so there's a US hardcover edition. That was the first edition, and it was copyrighted, or like it came out in 1997. So this is pretty old school, and it does sound pretty good actually. So very happy to have found that. All right. So now I have a few more. Yeah, kind of quite a few more. All right. I'll just show this one. I found an R.L. Stine Silent Night trilogy bind up. This was exciting, and it's got kind of like a transparent film type of cover, and then you pull it back, and there's the step back art from Silent Night 3, where Riva is surrounded by those like creepy looking mannequins wearing Santa garb. So that was pretty cool that I found this. All right. Then I have a couple of Christopher Pike books. I actually found a whole bunch more, but I decided not to bring them out and show them to you in this haul, just because they're duplicates that I already have. But I found a copy of Die Softly with an alternate cover, but this one was printed by Simon Pulse Fiction. And so I just picked it up just because it's a variant cover, just to throw it in the collection. But I was missing this one, Remember Me 3, The Last Story. Now I have the first two, and then with book number 2, I have two different covers. And then I have the whole trilogy in a bind up. But now I have the original Remember Me 3 edition. So, and this has never been read. The covers and the pages offer resistance when I try opening it. I'm pretty sure that this is a first or first printing. It counts backwards from 10 to 1, like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I think that makes it a first edition. I'm not 100% sure, but it's got some step back art. So that was pretty cool. That's the kind of the problem with like all the Christopher Pike books. Like if they have the step back art with the cutout in the Pike name, you get stuff like that. That sucks. It does. All right. And I think that's it for young adults. So now I have a handful of adult books. So I found this one, Anne Rice, The Wolves of Midwinter. I didn't even know about this series, but the Wolf Gift Chronicles. I'd be curious to know if it ties into like the Vampire Chronicles, or if it ties into the Mayfair Witches Chronicles at all. But this was a cool find. Let's see, what else do I got? Where the devil did it go? Oh, there it went. All right. So I actually don't own a copy of Pet Sematary by Stephen King, but I found this paperback yesterday, and geez, I can't believe that they charge $4 for paperbacks at this one thrift store. But since I didn't already have a copy of Pet Sematary, I was just like, you know what, I'll pick it up. So yeah, I got Pet Sematary now. Then I got this thing by Thomas F. Monteleone, and it's called Night Things, and it's published by Popular Library Fiction. I've never heard of that publication before, but it's called Night Things. The tagline on the front reads, "Once they were loose, there was no armor against them." And it's got an interesting looking cover, but I can't quite make out what's going on here. But it's still interesting enough to be kind of intriguing. So here's the Synopsis on the back. Terror and death came so swiftly to the little desert town, first to one person, then another, separately in the dark of night, that people thought it the work of one madman. Then they came in hordes, killing and devouring townspeople and construction rednecks, yet no one would believe what was happening except those already paralyzed with fear. They were helpless and alone in the New Mexican night, terrified to look into those empty eyes, knowing that they were looking into their own deaths. Night Things, a new classic among the great novels of terror. So I live in New Mexico, and that's kind of what compelled me to pick it up when I saw it in the thrift store. Like, I might have otherwise left it behind just because I've never heard of the author, never heard of the publication. The back cover was a little too vague as to what the plot was about, but when I saw New Mexico, I was like, all right, I'll take it. All right, then I found a Jack Ketchum book. I'm not sure if I own any other Jack Ketchum books or not. I know I don't have The Girl Next Door. I know I don't have that one. That one sounds way too heartbreaking, and I am really sensitive to like child abuse. Like, that is a trigger of mine. So Jack Ketchum, this one is called Off Season, and there's a tag or there's a blurb on the front from Stephen King, and this is cool. Like, good for you, Jack Ketchum. It reads, "If you read Off Season on Thanksgiving, you probably won't sleep until Christmas." And it's like, that is one heck of a blurb you got from Stephen King there, buddy. Good for you. And apparently this is the author's uncut, uncensored version. So let's go ahead and read the synopsis on the back, because this sounds good. September. A beautiful New York editor retreats to a lonely cabin on a hill in the quiet Maine beach town of Dead River, off season, awaiting her sister and friends. Nearby, a savage human family with a taste for flesh lurks in the darkening woods, watching, waiting for the moon to rise and night to fall. And before too many hours pass, 5 civilized, sophisticated people and one tired old country sheriff will learn just how primitive we all are beneath the surface, and that there are no limits at all to the will to survive. And I mean, that sounds pretty good. It does. So I went ahead and picked it up. Then I picked up this one. Never heard of the author, but it's a zebra horror book. And so, like, I always pick up zebra horror books if I can find them. I don't always find them. They're pretty rare for me to find. I have a couple. This is my latest one, and it's called Wolfsbane by William W. Johnstone. Never heard of this author, never heard of this book, but great looking cover. The skeleton sitting in a chair holding flowers, and then these like weird looking creature faces doing like a 180-degree like pan over. I don't know, that is just really cool looking. I know I read the synopsis at the store. I don't remember what it said. Let's read it. Once the bayou was thick with it, the buttery yellow petals, the delicately veined green leaves, the seductive scent of wolfsbane. But for years, the people of Ducros Parish, Louisiana, have been free of the ancient root and its ancient evil. Now, tiny yellow buds are once again dotting the bayou, and fear sinks its roots deep into their souls. For when the wolfsbane blossoms in springtime, splendor, the horror will be back in full flower, and Ducros Parish will be a place of nightmarish terror. All right, that sounds okay. It does. Spine's doing well, holding up. Book's in decent condition. It's been read before. Look at that spine. But whoever read it, they weren't too hard on it. So that's cool. I got 2 more for you. I know which one I'm saving for last. But this one sounded interesting. It's a Berkeley horror book. I have a few of these as well. And the author's name is Clifford Moore. And the title is Requiem. And here's the cover. Kind of interesting. This one's definitely been read before. The spine is in better condition than Wolfsbane. But at least Wolfsbane is the spine and the cover are holding onto the pages, which is very important to me. But here's the synopsis on the back, because there is a blurb on the cover, but there is no tagline. On the front cover, the blurb is a stunning novel of absolute evil. And here's the synopsis on the back. Act 1. A mother watches her retarded son pluck the strings of a toy guitar until a fierce new intelligence glows in his eyes. Act 2. In a psychiatric clinic, the doctors probe the secrets of the boy's miraculous recovery until he makes his escape. Act 3. The time has come. He is a grown man, an acclaimed violinist whose mastery of music hides a deep, festering evil. His soul is not alone. Someone or something has invaded the shell of his body, struggling for power, aching for release, ready to unleash upon the world the darkest forces of human nature and inhuman terror. Requiem. Yeah, so the R word was on the back cover. I'm terribly sorry for that. But I was kind of just as surprised as you. This book was published in 1992. So very old school, very good condition for a book, a paperback that was published back then that's been read before. So yeah, that sounds pretty good. You gotta admit, it actually does kind of sound like Halloween, Michael Myers. Okay, then I found another copy of The Season of Passage by Christopher Pike, the book I'm reading right now. I've been reading it for months. My life has been so hectic. The 2020s have been an awful decade, and this year has been like arguably the worst year of the decade for me. I'm moving this weekend, okay? I shouldn't even be filming this video. I'm going to have to bust my hump to get moved for the rest of today and tomorrow. But I wanted to film this video before I moved. Anyway, I found another copy of The Season of Passage by Christopher Pike. Library hardback. It used to be owned by a local high school library, and it's doing so well. The spine is holding onto all the pages so great. Let's see. It's been checked out 3 times. The last time it was checked out was the year 2008. And the local high school that used to own it, I remember wrestling that school. And I'm trying to remember if I won the match when I wrestled them. And I remember the night. I remember my friends losing their matches. I don't remember if I won or lost, but I'm leaning towards lost because I think that if I won, I'd remember it. I think I'd remember it more vividly. But anyway, that school lost their copy of this book to me. So even if I did lose the wrestling match, you know, the universe balanced things out. All right. So yeah, this was super exciting for me to find. Anyway, I am reading this book, but I've only been reading like one chapter like a week. Like the laundromat at my apartment complex has been down like almost all year, so I have to leave and go to a public laundromat now. And while I'm drying my clothes, I'm lucky to read like a chapter or two, and I just don't have any other time. I just don't. I'm working on it. I'm a little over halfway through that book. I've been taking notes, so, but yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. This was a good book haul. Yeah, this was a lot of fun, and I'm really proud of what I acquired here. It's great for my collection. But thank you guys for watching, and I hope you had fun with it too. All right, horns up, peace out, have a great weekend, and I hope you had a happy Halloween.